Hello, everyone. Matter of fact, I think they're still watching the other video, I hope. I don't know. I've got about an hour and a half here to run this one, so we'll do this. Hello, my dear ones. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I don't know where we are on that spiritual video we did in the seminar. I was hoping to get that up for you. I don't know where that is. So I've been in court all morning, so it's like my head's spinning with corruption. So let me get that out of there and start bringing that God force back in this planet. Holy crap. Horrible, 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 horrible. I wanted to catch up on some of your questions because, like I said, you guys are asking some really great questions, and I think this is important. Once we sift out the crap out there, get down to some real meaningful questions, and I think this is real important for each and every one of you, and you guys are really focusing in on now reality and stuff, and that's really key. You're proving the facts that we've been talking about here about the lymph systems and the fruits and things like this. We've already proven that with all you guys proving that. And so now it's a matter of these cases and helping these poor souls get their bodies back in shape so we can have, maybe a better spin here. So this one's Gary. Gary says, my father has been diagnosed with Parkinson, and he's 78 years old. So immediately, when Parkinson's or MS or any of these neurological compromising issues come about, immediately there's only two nervous systems. One's the central nervous system, which is the hard drive, that's the brain, and then and the spinal column. Then you have the autonomic. The autonomic is where the central tells the autonomic goes okay, and everybody works. And that's autonomic makes things happen. Sympathetic, parasympathetic. Remember, the parasympathetic comes in here. The other half's tied to the adrenal glands. You'll always find adrenal gland problems. Of course, when you find adrenal gland problems, you're going to find kidney problems. And when you find kidney problems, you find what? Lymphatic problems. And when you find lymphatic problems, what do you find? Acidosis. And when you find acidosis, what do you find? The breaking down of cells. Generally, it's just inflammation and swelling. That alone can create equilibrium problems, neurological suppression, twitching, convulsions, and things like this. But when you really suppress that system, it's really more serious. You get into convulsions. We got people that seize all the time, have seizures. I have one poor soul that she says seizures, 10 a day or something now, down from 30. I mean, this is just unbelievable kind of stuff out there that these poor souls are suffering with. So immediately, before we go read any further, we know immediately that we got to go into this person. They probably got some brain lesions from all that acid buildup in the head. And so typically you see brain lesions with MS and Parkinson's. Sometimes no, but as a rule. So you're going to go up with upper circulation and brain and nerve. That's what I would be doing. And you're going to be taking care of the system that's creating this problem. You're going to go into the adrenal glands, get those up because of the autonomic response with that. You're going to start getting those kidneys cleaned out and flushed and get that lymph start moving out. That way you're going to move these acids out of these interstitial fluids. That way it'll bring down inflammation. It'll give a reprieve to the cell. If cells are already damaged, we can rebuild them, or they're going to go to lymph nodes and be dealt with by macrophages anyway. So you want to go down that line. And remember, all neurological cases require 100% fruits, berries, and melons. Don't even waste your time with salads. Maybe to get going, maybe for the first month to get going, but you want to set in. Now, this guy's 78 years old. The chances of going all fruit, berries, and melons, you got to see where his head's at. At 78 years old, a lot of people, and it's a male, so a lot of males at 78 go, you know what, I live my life. I don't care. So you got to look at that. See what he's willing to do, because Parkinson's is gnarly. I would say try to avoid cinnamon with Parkinson's and use our antispasmodics. We got the strong antispasmodic in. I would go with that to control any shaking, tremors, anything like that. But I'd hit that nervous system, hit those adrenals, get up in the brain with the upper circ. At the same time, you're going to start cleaning up this gut that the head's sitting on, and you're going to get those kidneys moving. Everything you guys know to be true in detoxification, you're going to go right after that. Why? Because detoxification takes care of the causative factors of all man's problems. Because man's problems has always been chemistry, hasn't it? His consumption, or what he's done to the atmosphere. and what that's done to the cells. And now the cells themselves are having a lot of problems, as we know. Now, he was issued antivirals and dopamine meds for the Parkinson's. He is on. Now, what's interesting about the dopamines is that dopamine controls kidney elimination. He is on statins for family genetic heart disease, which was recommended by the doctor. So let's look at that. Genetic heart disease, what could that be? If he's on statins, that's not about genetic heart disease. Statins is about the control of cholesterol, and that is the control of cholesterol by the liver. The problem with that idiocy thinking is that you can shut down your liver's manufacturing of cholesterol, and of course that damages the liver, as all statins do. For the sake of what? That does not stop your body from using cholesterol as an anti-inflammatory. It doesn't stop as we know, antacid. So you can't just shut down cholesterol, the liver's production of cholesterol, and think that that's going to stop plaquing. And plaquing isn't a genetic problem. The genetic problem is with the adrenals and the kidneys that control the lymph system. That is the way acids are removed out of the body. And when that isn't happening, that's when cholesterol comes in, or your adrenal steroids. And remember, your adrenal steroids are made from cholesterol. So the use of statins could compromise the production of progesterone, cortisols, most of your corticals, mineral steroids, stuff like this, which then would compromise further into blood sugar problems, utilization problems of nutrients, and you're going down a long line right there. So the statins, Deepak Chopra, there was about 4 or 5 medical doctors wrote a big article, I think I told you before, in the I think it was a Wall Street Journal, and they're really slamming statins, and I don't blame them. Ridiculous. Good moneymaker though. He has severe dry eyes. Okay, so right here, he has severe dry eyes. What's up with that? Extreme dehydration. So you know that the likelihood of having brain lesions are high in a person like this, even though we haven't covered that, because of dry eyes. And he's working for macular degeneration and, retina detachments and all these sort of things like this, because dryness means dehydration, means acidosis, means that your lymph system isn't being filtered properly through your kidneys, which means your kidneys and adrenals are in a problem, which is classic for humans. Humans on planet Earth are classically kidney and adrenals, which leads to massive lymphatic problems. And that's what you're seeing. And kidney failure is right along up there with everything else. Sleep apnea, obviously, is very congested lymphatically. So he needs to clean it up. Get this, psoriasis on the neck and face, highly acidic on the face and neck, of course. Why wouldn't you be? You have dry eyes, you have Parkinson's, which probably comes with some brain lesions on that. The dandruff, that's classic lymph moving out the skin, dandruff, lymph. So this just confirms all these symptoms that he's having. Gary is confirming to you how acidic your father is. And he has to, maybe he'll review this video, but this is serious because that's the first step to Alzheimer's, dementia, things like this as well. All this high acidosis and stuff in the body. He was sent to a psychiatrist for depression. Okay, now we're getting at some things too. Depression, why are we coming in here? He's losing a lot of calcium to all this acidosis. What's he not doing? Now you guys in the classes, you guys just pick this up. You guys are so good. I'm just totally pleased with what you guys are doing. Obviously, depression, parathyroid gland. But look, he's got psoriasis in the neck. Why wouldn't his thyroid also be saturated? He'd be lucky not to have some nodules growing in the thyroid. Very classical for lymph stagnation, and that's just what you're seeing here. So he's issued antidepressants, which is as worse as depression. We got a great new depression formula, but at the same time, work on his parathyroid. He's going to need it to rebuild tissue in the nervous system, and there's another case of looking at why his nervous system is down, is his parathyroid's down. So you've got to get that up. You really got to get the lymph draining out of his head. Well, it sits right on top of his bowels, and then there's the kidneys. So you got some work to do down below before we get up to the top. He's doing physical therapy for Parkinson's and speech therapy. The problem with this is you're making activity where rest needs to be more considered, and let the magic of magnetic chemistry come in and fix. There's a time to and a time not to. You can get the speech back, you can get all that back. But they're not doing it, they're just giving him therapy on top of everything else he's doing. Bad diets, body's highly acidic. You got to correct these things in people and then do speech or physical therapies. But you've got to be in the process of getting the person well for these to have a lasting and an improvement that's lasting. Can you please explain why Parkinson's is happening and how it's happening and what he can... Yeah, exactly. Just what I said. And thank you so much, my friend. GW. Very important case. 78. So he's got to be willing to want to be well in his life at 78. And then by the time he fixes this, probably he'll be almost 80. Say at least a year and a half. It'll take him to do this. He might be a strong old boy and come out of this a lot quicker. So you just have to see how fast his kidneys are filtered, how bad that is. Look at the blood work, look at the abundant creatinine, see where his creatinine is. If it's below 1, we're probably in pretty good shape. So you just have to take a look at that. What's his PSAs? A man like 78 years old with kidneys like this probably has prostate problems and lower back problems with it. So you want to look at several things here, but you're going to go after them this way anyway. It'll correct all these things. That's the beauty of that, isn't it? The beauty of simplicity. This is Mark. Hi, Doc. Hi, Mark. I had heard you say numerous times to avoid the acid fruit for people who have severe arthritis, like RA, rheumatoid arthritis, and probably some other symptoms. I don't understand why. When the body metabolizes the acid fruit, isn't the net result on alkalizing effect on the body? It is. But there are still, especially when you pick unripe, there's still acid factors in some fruits, like the citrus fruits, and it's just like tomatoes. They're still there that can set off acid against acid. Don't ask me why that is. Now, good ripe fruit, you won't see that. But in America here and in some parts of the world where the fruit is very unripe, even at the grocery stores, that's problematic in the sense that it tends to be more on that growth side, more on the acid side. That's the number one problem with citruses and everything else. You pick a organic orange off a tree. If it's not as sweet and it doesn't put a smile on your face, somebody didn't know how to grow that fruit. When you eat a piece of fruit, you should be going, oh baby, this is so good. Oh man. That's when a farmer can grow fruit like that, we're all going to get healthy, because that's exactly what Homo sapiens are looking for, that burst of flavor and deliciousness that good fruit picked ripe is. But we have a very serious problem in this country. It never started out with the markets like in some of these islands and things where you go to the market every day and the trucks run every day with fresh fruit. Instead of picking for days in advance, they want fresh fruit every day. But again, they're on an island that grows that. Here, we don't have such luxury. We haven't grown the pyramid greenhouses yet or all the other stuff. So, we are putting up with this. What exactly do acid fruits do? My mom has severe arthritis in her knees, and I'm feeding her a grapefruit every morning, and I'm wondering if this is... It's not damaging, but if she doesn't feel worse or more pain with it, keep her going on it, because grapefruit is definitely a great cleanser and alkalizer of the human body. So don't let that stop you. If she notices more pain eating it, then I would shift to grapes or something. Apples, grapes, peaches, the subacid category. I'm just saying, it's definitely true on nightshades. But I've had cases where they were so acidic that even the acid fruits caused them a little problems. But mostly on the nightshades, which obviously is the toxic plant family, and Saint Mat. All right. This is, I'll put you, can I say G Guy 2? Oh, Government Loan Guy 2. Okay. I just started MSM, and I just read on your site that might inhibit lymphatic cleanse. Is that correct? Possible, and I wouldn't get into sulfur compounds. Anytime you get into anything that's a sulfate, a sulfite, anything that deals with sulfur compounds, I personally would avoid them like the plague. When you see how many people have sulfur problems, and sulfur is a big lymphatic inhibitor and a fungal proliferator. This is the other thing. People that have sulfur problems, and a lot of you guys that are working with people now are starting to see this, that when you see a lot of sulfur in someone, they also have a lot of fungal problems. And that's problematic, because trying to deal with the fungus is a whole nother thing. You know, and then you get systemically, and it's just, you know, more issues. Why, when you're going to go into the body anyway, you're going to do the thing that's essential. Essential issue is the detoxification. On the flip side of that, you have tissue regeneration in that process. Why? Because you're using highly electromagnetic energy / chemistry, and that's, remember, consciousness. That's how everybody. That's how life is expressed. So by increasing these levels of magnetic energy to cells, they themselves uplift. It's all about physics. And we've said this before. Go into a room of laughing people. If you go into a room and everybody's laughing and laughing and laughing, laughing, and pretty soon you'll be laughing, and you have by osmosis. You don't even know why you're laughing. And it's just that law of physics. Everything seeks a homeostasis. And it's just what you're seeing here. It worked. Oh, Scott, listen, that was pretty good, wasn't it? Using that for the potassium. Did you see how that worked? Watching those food combinations, watching all that. That's why I say on dialysis, even a good mono diet might be good. So good work, Scott. You know, I admire Scott working, excuse me, in a dialysis center. Whew. We got a whole new system here. So we can answer your phones better and take care of you guys better. So it costs us a bit of money, but we got a new phone system in. Let me see here. This is Irene. Hello, Dr. Morse. I called your clinic this afternoon, but failed to give Shannon all the details. My brother has hepatitis B and is critical condition. Wow, with hepatitis B, huh? I was hoping you could advise me on what to do to improve his situations. Immediately go on a grape fast. Immediately go on a grape fast. At the same time, I'd be getting a liver gallbladder formula. I'd be getting an adrenal gland formula. I'd be getting a kidney formula. I'd be going after that lymph system, and I'd be cleaning up that GI tract. I'd be start out with the detox kit 1, 2, deworm them, get everything moving, and then jump into a more aggressive program. And I've given you, you know, a lot of these protocols on the air here. Or go to the Facebook Friends of Dr. Morse, and they'll help you, or call the clinic and Shannon will help you even more on that. But I put them on if you're in trouble with like a hepatitis, I mean, you got a lot of inflammation in the liver, get up on a fruit fat, detox the body, get the kidneys start filtering this lymph and get this acidosis out of there, which will get the inflammation. That's why it's there. And then everything will correct itself and you rebuild his liver and he'll be in good shape. Can hardly, he has, let me see. I don't know if it's significant, but he had his gallbladder removed 2 months ago. Well, hello. I mean, this is about the lymph system. Remember the liver and gallbladder? Just a bunch of cells and 2 major fluids. Just a bunch of cells and 2 major fluids. So, you know the lymph system is backed up in the liver gallbladder. That's what took the gallbladder out. Now you've got a liver. Why would it not be understood that the liver's also in trouble? If the gallbladder's in trouble, guys, remember your liver's in trouble. Sometimes gallbladders are really genetically weak over the liver. I've seen that a lot in the eyes. But I'm going to tell you, if your gallbladder's in trouble, your liver's in trouble. Well, if your liver's in trouble, guess what else is in trouble? Your bowels, your GI tract. And guess what else is in trouble? Your kidneys and adrenals. All this controls this gigantic sewer system that flows through your GI tract wall. Remember, the liver is just, and gallbladder is just a branch off this branch of the tree. And then your pancreas, you know, the pancreas is backed up a little bit. Just because you don't see a symptom right now. And here's a good example. First it was the gallbladder, now the liver. See, so you see bits and pieces, and then the light comes on in the room, and pretty soon you start to see all that's going on, which is really the lymphatic system. And get focused on that, and you'll be able to pull that out of it. can hardly hold solid foods down. We'll get him off of what you might call solid foods and get him on the right foods, get him on the fruits, berries, and melons. You know, you're dealing in the tissues that deal with fats. So any fats that he's going to have is going to cause excessive bowel movements. Any proteins which come with fats, and you want him off of all meats anyway. You want him on an all fruit, berry, and melon diet if he's in trouble. I wouldn't even give him salads if he's in trouble. Get him on fruits, berries, and melons while he's in trouble. Clean him up, get all that cleaned out, use the herbs, and then he's good to go. Very nauseated, cannot sleep. Well, he's probably very involved in here. He's probably not only involved in the liver, he's involved with the gastric, the stomach. All this is all, the lymph. And this is what helps you guys to see that this is a systemic problem. That when someone says he's got hepatitis B, you guys can come back, no, he's got something much worse. What's that? Systemic acidosis. Because you know that by the time the lymph system's backed up in the liver gallbladder, it's also backed up where? Head to toe. You might not see the aggressive symptoms right now. Slowly burn you, slowly break down the cells. And then you're diagnosed like this guy with Parkinson's or something else, and you wonder, well, why did that happen to me? That's why you guys are so important in the education of this planet. And so it understands the simple reasons why man suffers and the simple remedy that is available to him. This complexity of things that we've created is a nightmare in all levels. He's retaining water in his stomach. Did I just say stomach? And legs. I mean, he's in kidney failure. Let's go back to the real cause of this. Let's go back to the kidneys and adrenal glands. He's in kidney failure, and that's just what this is showing. Does not urinate. There you go. Here we go. Does not urinate. Wait for it. Does not urinate the usual amount of urine and is very weak. Well, because he's going into kidney failure. There's the problem in the first place. So you got to get into his kidneys and get into his adrenal glands and get all that turned on at the same time. Start cleaning up the bowels. Get the liver pulled. And you can't pull the liver till you start pulling on the bowels. I definitely use the GI broom on this guy, even though he's moving quite frequently. And get him on a mono diet of just grapes or a mono diet of fruits and berries and melons, if you can call that a mono diet of any sort. To some people, I suppose it is. His doctor put him on medication, but he got a week ago, so he was hospitalized. Oh, well, he's in adrenal failure, so you're going to use, this is where you use glandulars, guys. I'd get the 400s, pop him 1-3 times a day and see if that's enough. His wife has been feeding him vegetable soup and fresh fruit juices. Good wife. I did some research on the internet, and it says beets, dandelion, milk thistle, and artichokes right on. Can help cure this condition. Absolutely. It's not a condition. This is a systemic problem. Just don't think about liver. I want you to think about kidney failure and what's going on. Get his creatinine. Start looking. Go get his blood work up and look at his creatinine. If it's above 0.8, he's losing it. So you gotta get those kidneys and start getting them to filter, just like what we've been talking about over here. He lives in the Philippines, so none of these are available there. Well, mail it to him. I live in the U.S., so I brought those in powder and extract form and sent them to him. He's yet to receive them. I'd get him on formulas. They're easy to take and easier to do. In the meantime, his water retention got worse because he's so acidic. He's so dehydrated. See, it's a classic case amongst all of us. And he's so dehydrated now that he's holding water. He's getting edemic because of the severe dehydration. And this is why you're seeing all this happen to him. He got weaker, so the doctor decided to drain the water out by a huge needle. I hate huge needles. Ew. Actually, I don't mind them. I don't mind getting stuck. I don't mind any of that stuff. He told me 2 days ago that he would be able to drain 3.5 liters of dirty-looking water. I bet it's dirty-looking water. Sewage, baby. So far, there's no sign of water building back up, so that's good news. But you got to understand why, and you have to keep going down this line to fix this, so he won't have that backing up anymore, because his whole gut's in trouble, obviously, which goes to understand if you look at the body like a tree and the GI tract is the trunk, and understanding that up that trunk is pathways of blood and lymph. and that any obstruction in these pathways starts blocking all the limbs out. Well, the problem is that the kidneys control the drainage of the whole tree, top to bottom, roots included. However, yesterday he felt very weak and became disoriented. He still can't sleep and still has problems urinating. He does not recognize his wife. My voice, isn't that sad? That's sad freaking stuff. Boys, we got to go down and get this guy well. Pull him out of there. It's only Hep B only. See what I'm saying? It's a systemic problem. He's so acidic. You have to be careful. Stroke, heart attack, anything else. Today was the same. He just keeps repeating the last word he hears. Got to get him on these. You got to get him on the herbs and the adrenal glandulars, and you really got to get him on these things. You might have to go into a feeding tube later on. Who knows? But you got to get him in him now. Get him on a fruit fast. Forget the vegetable soups. Get him on a fruit berry. High dark fruits. Dark, like dark grapes. Full of flavonoids. Full of healing power. I am very concerned that his condition will keep worsening, as it will. I have brought your detox kit 1 and have tried it myself along with the OT. I am wondering if putting him on the detox is a bad idea. Are you serious? What's a bad idea is if you don't, because it's not good. You can start out with half dosages, but you're not talking about things that hurt you. Don't look at herbs as something to hurt you, and detox is something that hurts you, because it's not something that hurts you at all. It's something that starts cleaning you. Now, yeah, we've had some tough healing crises that sometimes hurt you, but it's not hurting you, but it is pulling out what's already there. You can't detox something out that's not already there. So, no, just the opposite, sweetheart. You want to hit you want him on the kit like yesterday. That's the only way you're going to pull him out of this. Get him on the Heal All tea. Start drinking that, sipping it, because he's holding water. So you have to be careful not to overdo the water because of the edema. And it's just the body's natural response to what? Acidosis. So just remember that. You're going after the acidosis, which everything will correct itself once that's accomplished. Well, that means you've got to get his kidneys filtering, and he's almost looking like he's into kidney failure as it is. I would be looking at that creatinine and seeing where he is. Sounds like he probably has very high creatinine. And while they're looking at that, have him pull a PSA and take a look at his prostate, because that can't be real healthy either. Let's see, he just keeps, okay. I am very concerned. What are your thoughts on this? That is my thoughts on that, Irene. Love you, honey, and you'll get him well if you just start now and get him on him. Somebody start getting him on all fruit, especially grape fast. You can put him on a grape fast. Lots and lots of dark grapes. Juice them up for him. You can eat them too, and go down that route and start pulling all this lymph out as fast as you can, and get the kidneys to start filtering better, because he's so swollen in the kidneys as well. He's hardly peeing. Well, that's dialysis trip, and then everything gets worse faster. No. We can get this. You can get your man back, but you gotta go this way. Michael Post from Japan. Hey, Dr. Morse, it's Mike from Japan. Hi, Mike. I recently received some herbs from you guys, and I just wanted to say that you have great stuff. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I mean, we really try. I'm one of those guys that I like to do better every time I do something. Every time we make something, we want to improve it. And I think that's what we all should strive for, is you always do better the next time. Things get better, you always do better. And so I think it's a worthy effort for one to always strive to do better. We want to make sure things are wrapped good. I mean, we get crap in here. People don't wrap them. They're broke. I mean, all kinds of things. So we strive to always, think better, do better. I told you before that I studied herbs from Dr. Sebi. I remember that. I ordered herbs from you guys because winter came and I ran out. Yeah, ooh. I have a kidney formula I made. Interesting enough, it is very similar to yours. Well, because it's a good thing. Let me see. I have a kidney formula. Let me see here. Mine consists of goldenrod, dandelion, horsetail, and plantain. I like that. I mean, there's a lot more good herbs out there. But certainly, this is a good formula. Goldenrod, dandelion, horsetail, Plantain is really more of a puller, a lymphatic, but you want that with the kidneys to have a little bit in there. That was good thinking to help pull on that kidney wall a little bit. So you can open up, because remember, the kidney's just a bunch of cells and two fluids like everything else. And so you're trying to get that fluid to kind of move in the kidney wall itself. Remember, the kidney is made up of a bunch of cells and two fluids, just like the bladder and everything else. So they have lymphatic problems themselves. I have been experimenting with local herbs I have at my disposal, which is smart, here in YUFUIN to add to the formula. If you could find, would you? It really moves lymph. Oh, I'll have to look this up. This isn't, I couldn't even pronounce it, but it's spelled DOKUDAMJ. And I will look this up because he claims that it is really good for moving lymph. We want to look at all those good lymph moving herbs. Absolutely. So I'm going to have Drew look this up for me, where you are, would highly recommend it. I'll look that up. I'm originally from Palm City, Florida. Hey, but I can't say I have seen that herb around. Nah, me neither. But there's a lot of herbs out there. You know, you got 5,000, probably more than that by now, probably 7,000 discovered herbs. And it's just difficult in these times to know which is for which, because there's not a lot of history behind some of these that we can get a hold of. And once we do research and find some history and then get some clinicals done with them, well, pretty good. The problem here with clinicals is that when you get highly advanced cases, you don't want to play too much to see if something works or doesn't work, you know. Anyway, I have some questions. Right now I am using my formulas in a tea, but I feel that consuming the whole plant is better than just the water-soluble parts. Absolutely. Because, again, making a tea, you still have your oils that are not being leached. And I agree with you. That's why I like the whole plant. Now, how do you take a whole plant and get it to you as close to that original wholeness as you can get? As much magnetics as you can retain in a plant, and that's proper drying, slow shade drying, that's all these other cofactors, and then how we distill them. And some of my formulas we distill with fresh herbs. Whenever we can get fresh herbs, we try to get fresh herbs. But again, in a clinical setting, somewhat difficult to give you an herb that is mature like dandelion through the spring and summer, but you lose it through the winter. So it's good to have dandelion in storage, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you can make it in pill form, absolutely. Do you recommend a do-it-yourself pill maker and also organic, non-chemical pill capsules? Oh yeah, absolutely. I hate capsules, to tell you the truth. I'm one of those people that get stuck. But you'd want to do, we do the veggie caps, which is starch. You know, so starch is more sugar, and I really don't really care for that either. So I don't know of any great form that you can use to do that. I know there is some binders that you could probably use and make pills out of them instead of capsules. That might be a little better if you used a proper oil like grapeseed or olive oil and somehow made your pills where you could take them before they, you know, keep them in the refrigerator or something. Also, I don't have any major diseases such as cancer, etc. I do, however, like everyone else, have lymphatic clogging, weak bowels, kidneys, and adrenals. I've had 3 kidney stones. Well, right there, the kidney stones, oh, those are fun. But those stones tell you that you have kidney weakness, a lot of inflammation in the kidneys, and so that's your first heads up there. My father has had 67 kidney stones. Oh, that poor soul. I can't imagine. He had to get so cut and scarred that it might not hurt anymore. I don't know. That's I can't even imagine 67 kidney stones. I can't even imagine that. His whole kidneys. I've had 7 of them, and when I started detoxing, well, you know what, got cleaned out, and they were painful, every one of them. Badly so. So that's horrible. I know holy crap is right. That's scary, a poor guy, but he's got to get it. When that leaves you, there you go. And you're right on in your thinking, Mike, about your kidneys. You want to go after them because you know you got some genetics there. Look at Dad. Dad wants to go after his adrenals and kidneys too and stop forming them. That's insane. So, you know, and working that way. That is, you'd want to definitely stay away from proteins with stones. That's the fastest way to get a stone is eat proteins. That is what originally started me on my health path. I can understand that. Anyway, I stick to the diet fairly decently. I would. I mean that's a good incentive, and sometimes, unfortunately, it takes incentives. And your father was a good example for you. Maybe he was going through that as partly to assist your awareness. I do cheat sometimes, as we mostly all do sometimes. Don't let that stop you from continuing on your health journey. You know, you cheat and go on. You don't let it bother you. Don't let it upset you, and you just go on. And no one's beating anybody with a hammer here. If you're serious and you're in serious trouble, yeah, you got to strict up. But you want to make life fun too, guys. You really do. I think that's part of the problem is we get so adventuresome sometimes we get lost in it. I did. And but I was having fun. So I think we have to have fun in our lives and at the same time tackle our health issues. And I think breaking these solidified thought forms, the propaganda thought forms that's in the mind about eating and everything else, once we can reestablish our own thought forms of how we want to live and eat, then we can go later on even perfect those even more. But for now, just getting away from the hard stuff is good. The proteins, the dairies, and things like that. Since I'm a teacher in a foreign country, the local people invite me to their homes a lot and prepare dinner for me. I bet that's tough. But I know what that's like. I've had that happen to me too, and you can't be rude, and you would not be rude. And so, you know what? I don't have anything to say about that. I prefer not to be rude and to give love. So I would do the same as you. I'd probably eat their food, whatever it is, and give them love and thankful. Thank you. You know, absolutely. You're in Japan anyway. I got some good food. I don't want to be rude to them. Exactly. So I cheat sometimes. Yeah, that's okay. But, you know, there's higher things than diet. You know what I mean? There's the God part of you, which is you anyway. So you're just being godly, Mike. That's I respect that. I don't want. My right kidney is filtering decently at one point. I had about half as much sediment in my cup as Yaz did in his picture. I don't think my left kidney is filtering at all. Now that's possible. And see, that's the only thing that by looking at urine we can't tell is if one kidney is not over another. But you're going to feel it because one side of your body you're going to feel stiffer, tighter over another. You can feel where one side's filtering over another when you listen to your body a little more. But I don't know how you can correct that problem. And deal with that problem. Hey, Megan? Yeah, sweetheart.
Robert?
Hi, sweetheart. Could you bring me the glass, it's in a glass bottle in the refrigerator back there on my side here of water, honey?
Okay, sure.
Thanks, sweetie.
Yep.
Okay. We got a new phone system. I have to see how that works. Let me see what else here. When I went to the hospital, they took an x-ray, and the stone had passed. Oh, good. But you want to get your kidneys back in shape so you don't form stones anymore, my friend, and take care of that. Good. I'm glad your stone passed for you. Lots of love, guy. Thank you. Keep it up. 67 kidney stones. Oh, much glass.
Okay.
Was that your phone?
No, that was Megan, but she's
good.
at lunch. So,
Okay.
Yep,
Thanks.
I don't know what extension I am. 12, something like that.
A piece of cake.
300 something. One of those.
Piece of cake. Thanks,
All right.
honey.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Sorry about this. Excuse me for that. It's like I'm always talking. This is Krista. Thank you so much for answering my last question. You're welcome, sweetheart. It truly gave me the strength I need to pick myself up and carry on with this detox journey. And I hope that's so because, you know, this is a tough planet in every way. And, you know, you guys have the key to get yourselves well. And I would work with that, remembering that you're the most important thing initially you have to work on. And get the bodies healthy, but get yourself healthy. Get yourself happy. Put things outside of you. The IRS wants to come pound my door. They fabricated huge sums of money against me, which is horrible. These guys are criminals. They're lunatics. But I have to go like that. Because you could get so mad, you could do anything. And this is what's going on. And it's everywhere you look. So you just have to get solid and godly within yourself. And you're your own nectar. And then enjoy the bliss of the ride. But don't get too trapped with the ride, because that's all you experience. And there's so much more to know and learn. My question now isn't about going through detoxification, it's about after detoxifying. I was wondering if you can explain a little bit about detoxifying. You mentioned here and there that once you get clean your body out and detox, you're done. When you say done, do you mean you can go back to any diet you want and never have to worry about dis-ease? Good choice. Also, I wanted to ask you if someone was detoxifying themselves, let's say for a year, and got rid of all those disease and symptoms, but went back to a standard diet, would the same disease they had in the past always be their disease, or can the next time around be something totally different? This is a good question in a lot of ways. So obviously you know that we're not in the world of diseases. So, but let's say that someone went on your health programs and they had cancer. And let's say they had stomach cancer. And so they went on your health programs, and of course these health programs have eliminated a lot of stomach cancer in people, right? So, no, I can give you case after case where these people went back, pancreatic case like no other, stomach case like cancer like no other. They're back to the hamburgers, the pizzas, and everything else for years, and they did not get that problem back. If they did, you got to remember here, sweetheart, that it's not a disease you get and not get. These are all created things by your lifestyle and your genetics. Understand this is mainly a fluid problem from the kidney and adrenal weaknesses that we have that later become your tumors or the acids that break down the cells themselves. So you're just cleaning the body out. You clean your body out good, you couldn't in this lifetime probably get, say, a cancer or cells being damaged by acids back if you even went off real bad. That's the beauty of how this is. But I'll say that most people that go on this, they retain some of what they've learned. Even those that just doing it to get well and then back they go, they still retain some of what they learned. But I've seen people that once they've gotten these factors out of their body, they don't come back unless, maybe in 10, 20 years, if they were to be total trash eaters. I'll say this, if you half detoxify yourself and you don't completely remove the causative factors, it won't take long and their symptoms will be right back because you haven't totally cleaned that body out of acidosis. You haven't totally got your kidneys to filter. You haven't totally picked up those adrenal glands. So yeah, these diets are gonna wreck the body back down, and you're gonna see these things take off. So you want to always go way past your conditions that you're working on. If you're working on your health issues, just get so healthy that no symptoms have been in your body for months. Then you're past that magic door and you're good. And why would you want to trash out after that anyway? You work so hard to get to these levels. I would find balance where you picked a little of what you feel you needed to make yourself happy in the trash side of life, and then you picked up what you know is good for you on the good side of life. And then you balance that out with, just like chemistry, with the dominance on the good side, like the dominance on the base side or alkaline side of chemistry is life on this planet. And that's kind of how you want to think, with a dominance of good and a little what we might term as bad. This is Micah. Thank you for your time too, Micah. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I wanted to book a consultation with you personally, but don't have the funds to do so till midsummer. But you got a lot of YouTube videos, and that is why I'm doing this. You don't have to spend the money to see me. I'm giving this away. Because and you guys that come to the school, you guys at level 2 are so smart. I just we're going to have to redo level 2 even. You would mind, let me see. I do have a pressing question though, and wondered if you would mind giving me some advice in the meantime. Not at all. I have one large uterine fibroid for all together 4 years now. It is currently about 9 centimeters big. It had been surgically removed 3 years ago, but it's back. But naturally came back. Well, it's because you haven't fixed your lymph system, sweetheart. You have got to get into that lymph system. Well, that means you have to get into your kidneys and adrenals. Once you get that filtering, then what fibroid you have will come out. It's not like a 10-pounder like we had the other day. So, get that out and do it the right way. Clean up that. I'd also douche with some Herbal tea for a while. And especially for a couple of weeks, and clean that canal, clean the bowels, get the kidneys filtering, and you'll be fine. You'll get this out of there. You'll be good. You won't pop any more atypical cells. Everybody's good. It had been okay. I am working with cleaning up my diet, and I'm dealing with potential adrenal fatigue. No kidding. Well, that's there. Now you're at the causative gate. You're at the causative gate to what's causing the uterine fibroids. And that's what you want to focus in on, the causative gate, the reason why. And then the effect will be handled quite readily. If you deal with the cause, the effect will go away. If you treat the effect, the cause will never go away. And that's medical's problem. They don't focus in on the cause. They use this pseudo-thinking for causative factors. They're lost in pathology and all the other reasons of disease. I seem to remember, as you said in one of your videos, I seem to remember that it may well be related. Let me see here. With potential adrenal, weight. She's saying that her adrenal glands may well be related. Do you think? Absolutely, sweetheart. They're at the main causative factors. And if you're running low progesterone from the adrenals, of course, that's going to be more ovarian progesterone, though. You might want to look at that. Do you have excessive bleeding during menses? Is your periods on time or irregular? And look at that, because if that's the case, then you want to fix the pituitary gland. You want to use the female reproductive formula to tone up the uterus and ovaries. At the same time, bring your adrenals up. Get all the corticosteroids up in the body. Get your filtration going, and there's then all the fibroids, all that tissue that's hardened and highly acidic will melt away, and you'll be good. If not, you'll get a big tumor out of it. This is what's going on. And it'll keep coming back because no one's ever fixed the cause of it yet in you. And they just keep trying to remove the effect of that. And we said this about all tumors. You cut all your tumors out, they're going to grow back. That first discussion that you got in on here was about Angelina Jolie, where she had both double mastectomy for no reason other than the fear of genes. That to me is just, that showed ignorance. It didn't show knowledge. It didn't show, we've got to get in and get this fear out of people and get the truth out there so people understand that they have a remedy way beyond having to have their breasts removed. What is the problem? Go to the kidneys and adrenals every time. The main problem is my severe anemia due to so much blood loss every month during my cycle. Thought so. So, here's what you can do. You got to go on the female reproductive. I'd work on my pituitary. There's pituitary herbs in the female reproductive. Get that period brought down to normal. If you can't, we have a formula called bleeding. Bleeding formula is for internal bleeding. You might have to go on that and cut down that bleeding loss to fix the anemia because you're too acidic. That's too much estrogen and low, that's what I thought, low progesterone. So you can, I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm going to bite my tongue on this one, okay? You can use an adrenal popper, like an adrenal glandular. I would also use the female reproductive, and you could, biting my tongue, you could get some progesterone cream, rub it on the hips for a couple of weeks, maybe a month, and see if you can't reduce that fibroid with the progesterone cream because you're way out of balance with estrogen and progesterone. But I blame the pituitary for that right now, not knowing you, but that's the gland that controls this. Could be ovaries, but with the female reproductive formula, you'll be able to handle all these things. You might even have to take a pituitary glandular for one bottle bottle or something to think about. Try the female reproductive first, the pituitary herbs in there, see if you can bring your menses into balance, get the bleeding cut down. I would definitely use the bleeding formula to cut down the bleeding a little bit, minor at least, a little bit of it, and hold that from causing that, and bring that into balance. When you get that into balance, then you won't have that anemia problem. Let me see, probably half a liter of blood each time. A lot of women have this problem. And again, you got to look at the pituitary influence on the ovaries and how it promotes more estrogen than progesterone. You have to look at the ovaries themselves to see how healthy they are. That also, just the lymphatic system suppressed in the ovaries can create ovarian cysts, of course, but also suppress progesterone production. So you can see a lot of things going on just from lymphatic reasons. So if you go to the pituitary, you say, all right, my pituitary is causing the problems. Most of you in class level 2 saw the colon is always involved in pituitary problems. So you've got to go in, and that's why detoxification is a systemic effort or a systemic move to fix all parts of the body at one time, because the body works systemically. You can't just go fix one thing without ignoring other things. You can't do that. And you want to always remember that the kidneys and adrenals are always at the crux of the problem, unless it's trauma or something. And of course the genetic weaknesses in tissues, obviously. All right, so I seem to remember that it may well be related. I think drink the Herbal tea twice daily. I would douche with it for a couple of weeks too, dear. And I'm currently working with your adrenal tincture. Female reproductive and blood. Well, you're getting there. I definitely get into the kidneys, clean the kidneys up, get the lymph system, get the bowels, do on the GI broom. I'd probably pop an adrenal glandular, and I would definitely, you're probably running low blood pressure with this. And so you really, depends how low your blood pressure is, because in time you'll flip to the other way. The main problem is my severe anemia. Okay, this is approximately half of it. Okay, this is very depleting to the point where this is giving me issues with my gums, and I am losing quite a bit of hair. Okay, so let's stop a minute with this one. The bleeding isn't causing this. The anemia isn't causing this. Your lymph is causing all the above. You have to look at it a little differently. You're not losing hair because of anemia. You're not having these other problems because of anemia. You're having these problems because of the same reason you're having anemia. And the same reason you're having anemia is the same reason of all this stuff you say, of the fibroids and everything else. This is the lymph system. This is acidosis. This is kidney and adrenals. What else is in there? Nothing, honey. So you have to work on that way. This is telling me you're systemically, remember when the lymph's backed up, it's backed up head to toe, guys. So in looking at this case, she's backed up at the top of her head all the way down to her feet, probably. So, and then she's going to have fungal problem, blah, 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 blah. You're going to see all these things. So you've got, I'd use upper circ to support hair for get that lymph moving so you can stop that breakdown of tissue, because it's just a hop, skip, and jump to, honey, where did I park that car now? That's what hair loss bills. Hair loss, balding, dementia, Alzheimer's, all related. That's just external symptoms. My gums are gum problems. You know, this is all about acids. All about acids, guys. That's just external symptoms. God knows what kind of imbalances this is causing me otherwise. Well, do this. Just take all this mental garbage and set it to the side, sweetheart. Know that you have one system back down. Focus on kidneys, adrenals, what we're talking about with the pituitary and the female reproductive. Use the bleeding formula to curtail excessive bleeding while you're getting more progesterone, and you're bringing your progesterone and estrogen into balances. Like I said, you could bite my tongue for a month, use some progesterone cream on the hips, and help with that fibroid and everything. But man, you got to keep pumping on the adrenals and everything else, because taking steroids makes the adrenals shut down. It'll make the ovaries shut down too. So you're kind of in this kind of, well, but this is a case where I might recommend some treatment-based thinking. She's had 2 blood transfusions 2 weeks ago because of this, and obviously get on the bleeding formula. I can just tell you that. Get on that bleeding formula. It's going to help you a lot with doing that. And I'm surprised they didn't give you a hemostatic in the first place. that I really should consider a hysterectomy. You know, this is, again, just like Angelina Jolie, the double breastfeeding thing. Let's just take out the uterus and take out the ovaries, and then you won't bleed anymore. Well, that'd be a fact. But that wouldn't be fixing the cause, and I still say that you have to consider the pituitary in this issue, and take a look at that. Get your eyes, take a look at that. We have enough information and good training on the iris work to show you that pituitary. See if you have a pituitary problem. If you do, you have a bowel problem. Well, bowels are got you have to fix them anyway during detox. So you're going in and fixing these things, sweetheart, and you'll be good. Don't go having body parts cut out. I want to give this more time to heal rather than cut my uterus out, obviously. Well, you've got to not heal. You've got to fix and repair and rebuild. And that's just what you're doing. But in the meantime, I feel I need to do something about the heavy bleeding and wondered what you would suggest. The allopathic way would be to suppress my cycle for a few months with hormones to get my blood clot stable again. Bleeding formula, simple, easy, and it works very effectively. I would rather have a more natural approach, though, if it exists, and it does. I have seen that you sell a tincture called bleeding. Yeah, the girl was smart, baby, to lessen or even stop internal. You hit it right on the head, girl. Generally, I can see why, but would taking this make sense in my case to lessen even to stop bleeding? I would try to regulate that, my dear one, and cut it down to where, well, you're only going to use it short term anyway. You're not using it to control this forever. You're going to fix the problem. See? And then you're good. You're done. You get to save your body parts, and you're fixing the whole body up for your future. And so your future is like a bright sunny sky and day. It'll be full of love and happiness with a good body. Okay, this is from Lightship. Ooh, I like that name, Lightship. I like that. Hope all is going well with you, and you're amazing. Thank you so much for that. My mom was just diagnosed with mesothelioma. Well, mesothelioma, well, you know what? Get into the lungs there. Get into the lungs number 2. Definitely drink the 3-lung tea because your mucosa, she will expectorate. She will clean this stuff up, go into her kidneys and adrenals and start in that route. So you're supporting good nerve response to the lungs. You're opening up the kidney filtration so she can drain. At the same time, you're going to be cleaning those lungs internally. And the 3-lung tea and the lungs too are very good at doing that. And she will start getting more expectoration and hopefully pulling. Any scar tissue will have to heal up. That's going to take you a little while as you begin to clean the lymph. You got to clean the lymph first. That's the first process is to getting any scar tissue or any of these fibers that are locked into tissue to be expectorated. We will get confirmation after she has had the needle biopsy. I am unsure of all the toxins she inhaled and got on her skin in the 27 years she worked in the factory. Oh, God, anodizing. Oh, bad place. Oh, my God. Well, you know, the poor people in these places, I've worked in some factories early in my life, and my God, you know, I worked in a plastics factory, of course, very toxic. So, you know, that's why. I think when you stop, all of you, and look at this, the detoxification is always going to be your golden key. It's always going to be your golden key to wellness and cleaning the body out, whether it's mesothelioma, what a tongue twister that one is, to anything else. Doesn't matter the name. It matters about the structure, the mucosa, the lymph, which is the interstitial fluids, the blood, and just getting in and cleaning all these out, getting the kidneys to filter. That starts filtering the lungs, cleaning the lungs, because when you bring in toxic chemistry, your body has the ability to neutralize and remove this. And if your body can't, that means you're too backed up lymphatically. So by opening up all this up and getting the lymph system moving, what you bring in goes out. Nothing stays home. And that's the problem. We're so acidic that everybody likes to stay home, including chemicals that you breathe. So that's that anionic medium for which is created through acidosis. Things don't want to move. Things dehydrate. Things burn up, basically. Things coagulate. Things scar. All these things happen in the presence of acidosis. Turn that around, and you have the opposite happening. And that's the only answer you have, because that's the only two sides of chemistry there is anywhere in the galaxies. I really want to know if there is any truth to the statement that family members can get this just from living with her, as it may be on her clothes. Now, I don't know about that. You know, I do believe that fibers and things like this, we do carry, we breathe, we bring them in, but you can always clean the lungs out, guys, and that's what you want to do. And cleaning the lungs is cleaning everything else, except expectoration of the lungs. A lot of it doesn't go lymphatically. A lot of it, the body will that sort of thing. The ads say, but is it true? You know what? You could probably get fibers from anything. Probably is some truth to that. But again, as you clean your bodies up and everything, you all will be good. Maybe not a false statement. I mean, people carry things. I don't know how she could have come in contact with asbestos unless it was inhaled where she worked. Probably. And it could not even be asbestos anyway. It could be anything. You know, she could be burning and scarring her lungs just from her lymph system in the wall of her lungs. Could not be anything she inhaled. Could have been nothing like that. It could be interstitial lymphatic constipation. Absolutely. However, the true healers of this world know that it is just a name for interstitial. Dang! Are we all getting on the same wavelength or what? How good are we as one? The one, the God, back on the earth, bringing the light to the planet. Thank you. Smart guy. I love all you guys. Are so good. I'm proud of each and every one of you. And you're right on. It could be that too. I am just going to see if she will take the 3-lung tea along with the Heal All tea. I have had her on for a few months, the Fab 4 and lungs 2. You guys are good. Good job, Lightship. I will probably get the tinctures of them. Good job. Yeah, good job. I'm telling you, I'm real proud of every one of you guys. I know some of you are struggling, and just hang in there. You got all our supports, and just hang in there. You know, you'll overcome this. You shall overcome. And you got all of us on your team. We're all here as one. And that's the beauty of that. Level 2 was an incredible class. The strength and the energy there was good. And they allowed me to give forth a little more spiritual energy than other classes. So I enjoyed it quite well. It was hard keeping you guys earthbound. Whew. So very good. But you guys get it. And that's important. Some of you guys really get it and are doing well at helping others. And it's just a long road of helping others day in and day out, going through their issues. And, you know, the role of a healer isn't all great. It's full of emotional ups and downs. It's full of questions and moves and what do we do this way? Should we do this? Do we do that? We were just talking to a guy whose tumors are exploding in his body now, and so they have the 1/4 blood. Remember, interstitial fluid has 1/4 blood, 3/4 lymph. So when you have tumors, it has a little bit of blood in them, like a big juicy boil. That's interstitial fluid, and so, but they're exploding. So the problem is they're exploding inside his body instead of being pulled to the surface and exploding out. And that, of course, is making blood dump in the cavities, and that's not good. That's problematic. So, you know, what do you do in a case like that? So you got all these different cases that come at you. You got to figure out the best you can do in that moment to how you can fix that case. Having our tools, the herbs, this is where you guys have a leg up. And I'm not meaning anything about it, but you got a leg up, because I've got a formula for everything. And once you guys get in that groove, make your own or whatever you do, but you'll be able to see what we've set up. We set them up for ourselves. I'm wanting tools, baby. I'm looking for tools. I'm not looking to market. I'm looking for tools, because I want all of us to be successful healers. And we have good tools to help you heal. That's what makes all the difference in the world, like the bleeding formula. The hemostatic formulas help you keep bleeding in check while you're fixing things. That's pretty cool. And it's like an antispasmodic. You can keep seizures down. You can help Parkinson's. You can help MS from tremors and everything by using the antispasmodic. So there's so many good tools that herbs have that are nutritive, that are energetic, that are healing, and at the same time they're helping you with the symptoms. Where do you get that? You don't get that in pharmacology. What you get is that 6-week study on this new Liberty or whatever friggin' name they have on this drug. 6 weeks trial, probably in a little bitty medical doctor's office on Moose Jaw, Alaska Island, and suddenly it's on the market. But the first 2 things that they said on TV was fatal events and strokes. That wasn't the last 2 things. Those were the first 2 things. 6 weeks out, and the FDA allowed that? I wonder where the corruption really is here. Interesting. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Denise. Denise. The name of my second wife. Hello there to you all. I live in Australia and have been fortunate enough to have become aware of you. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. Appreciate that. I have spent the last 2 weeks trying to watch them all. Oh, there's a lot of them. There's going to be a lot of them because I'm going to spend more time doing more of them. So that I can start watching the latest ones on YouTube. Oh, good. I am still watching the 2012 episodes. Thanks, sweetheart. Thanks, honey. Some of your comments. You will rattle on. You're like, thanks, sweetheart. I love you. The Den. Thanks. Appreciate it, sweetheart. You know, we try. We try hard. But I'll tell you what. I'm proud of all of you guys. I can't say enough about how great you guys are and what you've been doing and how you're working on yourselves. And some of you guys that have really taken on the healing arch now, you're helping so many people. That does all our hearts good because that's our goal, is to bring the light and the love and the healing power to this planet. And then maybe these constipated bureaucrats that are criminally minded will wake up and realize that Karmu is following them around. You know Karmu? Karma. This is Miss C. Hi, Miss C. I have a quick question. There is a family friend whose son went for a routine operation at around a few months old as he was spitting up milk. Unfortunately, now remember, we talked about this way back in videos about young Trevor, which was at 8 months he passed. And what they did, he also was having a hard time with the milks. Well, this shows you immediately the genetic happening in the pancreatic, but more importantly, the hepatic tissue, which is liver, gallbladder. So these children are obviously being born with just like adrenals, they're being compromised hepatic functions. So they can't take these high-fat, high-protein formulas. Miss Medical Doctors, that's not the food for man, but they're putting these little infants on this. Can't do it anymore, can you? That's a case where they went in to stop this baby from throwing up. Was it to stop the formulas? It was to tie his stomach around his esophagus. Who went to jail for that one? Tied his stomach around his esophagus and gave him Botox treatments in his rectum so he could poop. Does that sound like some kind of, anything that would be halfway normal thinking? Sad. I mean, this mother lost her baby from stupid medical doctors who didn't get it, you know, and they got their narcissistic attitudes out there. I mean, some of you medical doctors are really great, and I love you guys. And some of those that are working on our side, good for you, because you're saving people, and I hear it all the time, and they love you. But some of you guys that are doing this kind of crap, going in and putting babies on propofol and only a few months old. I think I'm reading one here, a red one, where someone got killed under surgery the other day. Horrible, 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 horrible. Unfortunately, the doctor gave the baby too much anesthetics. Oh, this is the one. Too much anesthetics, and he became brain. Oh, no, wait. He didn't pass. Get this one. This doctor gave the baby too much anesthetics, and he became brain damaged, bound to a wheelchair, and only able to speak with a talker machine, which he presses with his thumb. He is responsive and can chew his food with difficulty. He also requires help with everything, just from surgery because he couldn't handle the milk. What the hell? He eats a terrible diet. Is he cared for by the author's authorities' careers? Oh my God. He is now 40 years old and has been living a very limited life, as you can imagine. Do you think there is any hope for him? Love, Miss C. Do I think there's any hope for this fella? Let's go after that guy. Well, he's been suffering way too long. That karma's been paid. Let's go get this kid, and let's fix this guy up. He's not a kid anymore. Let's get him fixed up. What would you do? What would you do with this guy? Since propofol is neurotoxins, what would you do? You'd want to detox, right? You'd want to start detoxifying this lad, because that's the only answer. You want to start cleaning all these neurotoxins, all these excitotoxins. You want to clean all this up. You're going to go after the kidneys. You're going to go after his adrenal glands, right? What else are you going to go? You're going after his bowels, right? You're going to go after his liver, because there's where the problem was originally. All right, so where else are we going? We're going up here? Absolutely. What two formulas would you use to get up into the head to start regeneration of the brain, of the central nervous system? Upper circuit, brain and nerve, one or two preferably. Absolutely. Heck yeah. And if he can't chew, get a feeding tube put in, gastric feeding tube put in him, big enough to where you can slam him with juices and feed him through the stomach. It's no big deal. We do it every day here, and feed him in the stomach. Pretty soon we'll get him all up and start talking more and more and more. You dang right there's a lot we can do for this guy. We can regenerate this guy. If everybody's willing and on board, we can go after this young man. You can't do anything unless he changes his lifestyle completely. And what kind of diet would you put this young guy on? Nope. Yep. Fruits, berries, and melons. Fruits, berries, and melons. Fruits, berries, and melons. And some more fruits, berries, and melons. Forget vegetables right now. This guy can't digest worth a crap anyway. Don't give him heavy foods. Fruits, berries, and melons. Get him in the upper circuit, brain, and nerve. Take off after the adrenals. You can even use brain tissue glandulars. There's all kinds of goodies we got for this guy. And this would be a great case to get this guy back to some semblance of a life which he's never had. A sad case, but these are my favorite cases. I know where most of you guys are going. We've done this for so many years. It's like, okay, next. But this is the kind of case we want to prove that you can back them away and get their central nervous and autonomic nervous systems back in shape. Got to go in the adrenals, get the neurotoxins out, go into the central nervous system with upper circuit, brain, and nerve, get into the kidneys, get into the lymph to start cleaning and alkalizing this guy up. Arm wrestler, interesting. I have a weak heart. There is some genetic history, but nothing major. The problem really came after I used anaerobic steroids. Yeah. I can see where the wrestler came in. Absolutely. Even though used in very small amounts and with short period of time, I started to feel stiffness. You know why? Because you shut down your adrenals. And this is typical bodybuilder stuff. And you shut down your adrenals, and guess what else? On high-protein diets. See you later, kidneys. So that's why you're feeling stiff. That stiffness is your lymph system. You're getting more acidic and more acidic. More and more and more. Absolutely. Classic stuff. I started to feel stiffness at first, and I thought it was just chest muscle soreness. It progressed to heart palpitations, and that progressed to moments of excitement in which the heart was beating too fast, and I could not calm down. It is not due to cholesterol because it is perfect in blood tests. Now, let's stop right there on this one, though. That wouldn't necessarily be a cholesterol problem anyway. I can tell you with this is a glandular problem. This is adrenals, and I definitely look at the thyroid with this one as well. You kind of slammed your body with the steroids. Can't take them. I mean, I don't know why people still get involved in these, but this is what happens to everybody. You got to get away from steroids, guys. Steroid up with raw fruits, berries, and melons, and green juices. Now you're packing. Definitely take a look at that because you slammed your adrenals big time. And that, of course, is your breathing. So then your heart has to kick up to oxygenate the body better because it's about getting oxygen to cells. Remember, ATP, which is cell energy, requires carbon for carbohydrates and oxygen from your breathing, even though carbon is included in some breathing. It is not due to cholesterol. Now, cholesterol, you have perfect blood cholesterol levels. That's what we were talking about a minute ago. You can have perfect blood cholesterol levels and have a stroke and a heart attack from the plaquing of it, because controlling it, and that's the idiocy of this thinking, controlling blood serum levels of cholesterol does nothing for what the body's using it for. Thank God. Thank God. Because if it did, people would be dropping on the streets right and left from heart attacks and death. I have not taken any steroids for more than a year. I am taking CoQ10 with hawthorn berries and doing a lot of cardio, but it's not enough to cure it. Any advice to fix this? First, I wouldn't be doing any cardio. I'd be slowing down and relaxing and start pumping different neurotransmitters. And those are the dopamine and acetylcholine neurotransmitters.
We need to talk to Jen. Meeting with Jen.
Okay. All right. Neurotransmitters. And that's adrenals. I'd be popping on the adrenal glandulars, probably 400 milligrams, 3, 4 times a day, or you might have to even go up. But get your adrenals back online. At the same time, go after your kidneys, go after your lymphatic system, and change your diet and get your body cleaned out. Get all this acid out of the body, get your steroids back in line, do your basal temperatures under your arm, check your thyroid gland, bring your body into balance. To bring the body into balance is to shift from a diet of proteins and all this stuff and go into fruits, berries, and melons and maybe a salad at night. And then go down that road, and that'll pull you out. This isn't about your heart, it's about your endocrine glands more than it is about your heart. And so go that way, and then you should be just fine. Just fine. You should work yourself back out of that. Okay, I've got to run. I guess we've got to have a meeting for something. But I will finish up this week. I have this week off, so I'll finish up this week and try to catch up with you guys. But I love you guys so much. You're doing such a beautiful job on yourselves and helping others. That's the beauty of it. And it also can make you happy, making other people happy and helping other people. Sometimes you can't help other people. Remember that one. And don't get frustrated. Not everybody can be helped. And that's okay. Everybody's on their own journey, and so are you. But if your journey is one of love and compassion and humility, it's a good journey. It's a godly journey. And I would keep with that. And keep to the self. And remember, spend time alone with yourself and get to know who you really are and appreciate the fact that you're here experiencing and that who you really are. So I love you all. And with that, namaste. May the blessings be. You all have a fun afternoon.